people have steady income and are able to pay off some of or even all the debts. And I don't know about Taiwan and also Bangladesh, but here in Thailand we have loan shark. And these people, if they are able to pay back to the loan shark, which costs them monthly, not 25 cents, 20% interest rate per month. We should kill all these people. We should. You see? So if these people that working with us are able to pay back the loan shark, happiness, you can feel the happiness. You see? So I think this is the most important thing that on the sufficiency side. They become self-reliant, start to have enough, and to know what happiness is. To drive to this phase, our strategy is to use business model to establish sustainable income. We group produce and products of the first phase into 4 businesses: food, handicrafts, horticulture, and tourism, leading to the creation of Doi Tung brand. As a result, we actually are the first social enterprise in Thailand. We look into the lives of men and women of all ages to study what was the traditional skill and wisdom they have. Don't have to start a new thing, or create anything. Go back to the past, to the people, what they're good at, and build on what they have. That's all. You don't have to be bright or, all these, technologies and so on and so forth. Go back to the past and build on what we have. We brought in designers to control. We changed from product-driven to market-driven approach. Here are examples of our handicraft products, spanning from textile, homeware, mulberry paper, ceramic, and ready-to-wear. The third S is sustainability. Doi Tung now is in this stage where the people become fully independent, have savings, enough to develop immunity to external shocks, and can continue to develop themselves. And this is what I call true sustainability. The 3S's model not only provides options for the people to live at or near home, but lessen problems like migration into big cities, human trafficking, forced labor, and sex industry, even slum, by addressing them at this root cause. Before I forget, the 17 development goals, they forgot one thing. The UN, they think they're smart, but they're not. Well, take a look what I'm trying to say. You know what it is? They forgot about migration. Migration in America, they're all migrants in America. Look at the migration in Europe now. This is the biggest thing that's going to happen in the whole world, and it's going to affect everyone in this world. So this is something, you from the UN, you better take that note. That I look down on the UN on this matter. You see? So the 3 models that I said, it's not provide options for the people to live near home and the migrations and so on. And this is the root cause. Let me go on a little bit. Can I have a little bit more than 10 minutes? What happens with Saddam Hussein? What happens Gaddafi, Osama bin Laden? They all CIAs. And who started the CIA? Look at Syria, Libya, anywhere that you talk about in the Middle East and so on and so forth, in Africa and so on. Who did it? And you talk about migration. That's not the point. The point, the grassroots are in those countries that the Westerner did it. So when you talk about all this sustainable development, another point that you miss out in the SDG. Oh, you check, huh? All right. You check another one. Why don't... All right. Look. I'm stopping here. But I say the 17 point is not right. And this is Bandai, the Westerners. So I think it's time now, because of the communism, socialism, and capitalism fail. If it doesn't fail, why the world is like this? So it failed. That's why the 21st century, something has to happen. The newism is coming up. What is it? I don't know. But it's around here. In the East. So everyone has to look east in the future. Okay? Throughout 27 years or 28 years that I have been through Daitung, whatever we do, we always ask ourselves, what do the people get out of it? Every cent and dime that you put in there, what do the people get out of it? If you cannot measure, don't ever give the money to them. That is what I'm trying to tell you, is that don't look in the input and output, but look at the outcome. This is very crucial. A lot of people talk in Bangkok and just shove it down and let the people do it. They don't want to do it. Oh, I can talk for years on this matter, but anyway. Well, when you talk about Daitung, economically per capita income, the people of Daitung has risen 20 folds. Okay? 20 times better off economically. In addition, the project has been self-sustained since the year 2000. We didn't get the money from any Thai people or any foreigners. We generate our income. That's why My Falun Foundation stand on our own feet. If you're going to talk your talk, have your walk. That's why today I can talk my talk, because I do have to walk my walk a long distance. Okay? Now, socially, the children receive minimum compulsory education. More and more of them continue to vocational school or college and university level. Even the fast-changing world, people still conserve their art, tradition, and beliefs. Environmentally, the forest area has been revived. Take a look at this Daitung. This is the past. And what is it now? You can see it's totally different. To elevate our work, we partner with well-established corporations like IKEA, Muji, Tokyo University, Caldi, Mi Cafeto, and Isimitsu, Japanese coffee expert, to improve our quality and standard to another platform and bring local products to global market, from local to global. But before you go from local to global, you have to bring the global to local first. Bring in all the international designers and those who know about the market. So as I said, you have to do the market-driven. Therefore, this is very important to work hand in hand. As a result, we received recognition from UNODC, Schwab Foundation, Nikkei Asia Prize, and Thailand Premium Products. Sustainability also means that the model can be adapted and implemented anywhere. not only Thailand. Thailand is now exporting sustainable development model to the world with the G2G agreement, and we have implemented projects, as you have said, in Myanmar, Afghanistan, Indonesia, as well as other areas in Thailand. For example, in Nan province, the watershed area of Thailand, where we implemented full-scale development and now become the national model for the reforestation. We do it as a catalyst, and the government learned from us, and then we try to embed it into the government. It's not our duty for the foundation to run the country. It's the government. They're being paid for it. But they don't know how to do it. Because all the government officials, they are handcuffed. So many things because regulations, rules, and whatnot. So we try to do out of the box and let them learn from us and adapt rules, regulation, and laws even, so that they be able to do it. Nowadays, our approach, based on the King's wisdom, has been adopted by the United Nations General Assembly under the UN Guiding Principles on Alternative Development. I've been doing that for 10 years at the UN. We are also working with equal partnership with the German government through the GIZ to be their consultant on development. Yesterday, they brought the Center Bureau of Narcotics of India to Daitung to see and understand our development approach with the aim to apply the model in India. And this is going to be, and the hardware, that means cash-wise, from the German, and we're working trilateral in India. And maybe in the very near future in Guatemala, and also in Morocco, and also in Iran, that they wish us to go and help them. In Thailand, through the Royal Initiative Discovery Foundation, that Dr. Chirayu and I started together with bringing all the royal families' foundations together. We have embedded development approach based on our experience and lessons learned, which led by the King's best practice on sufficiency economy into national policy. This is very important, and I'm so glad and proud that I have public-private people partnership to shift 1/3 of our country, covering about 22,000 villages, working very, very closely with the Ministry of Interior. We shift our country to another paradigm to foster sustainable development DNA into the future generation. We have Rakao Foundation, working with 175 universities in Thailand to bring students out of their classroom and learn from the reality on the ground and work with universities, executives, professors to change their curriculum, change the curriculum in university so that the research to be more beneficial to the people and the country in a sustainable manner. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that the SDGs are achievable. Thailand has been working on addressing these issues starting 70 years ago and learn by doing lots of mistakes and adjust them all along during the 70 years. And today Thailand is a donor country. I said this at the UNGAS that I was able to represent Asia Pacific in the Roundtable 5 in UNGAS in April. And I said that Thailand is a donor country. And I said 4 or 5 issues that the UN must pay attention. If you like to see that, then you try to get into this website and so on. Anyway, on a personal level, these projects may seem a bit too big. and slightly out of reach. But let me tell you, they are not. You can also make a difference. Any one of you sitting down here can make a difference. SDGs are not only for governments or corporations. It is not. But they are for all of us to follow, each individually. How we live our lives depend who we are as individuals. So we must live our lives responsibly. The world is at its tipping point. I really mean it. The world is at its tipping point, and it's heading towards a stage of collapse. I'm not joking. We see that we are part of the problems, which means that we are also part of the solution. It is time for us to act on it as our Mother Earth stops to compromise. And she's holding our grand and great-grandchildren hostage. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, หม่อมราชวงศ์ดิษฐ์นัดดา ดิษฐกุล We just had a very clear picture of Thai ways of sustainable development of His Majesty's the King's sufficiency on economy. Not only for Thailand, I would say, but also for the whole wide world, I would say. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the three presentations from three countries have just finished. Three organizations, three countries, three approaches, but with one goal: to improve the life of people, the underprivileged in particular. Now it is time to dig a bit more deeper, to hear more insight, and to enable the three experts to exchange their ideas. And I would like to introduce to you our moderator of this panel discussion. The name is Mr. Sutichai Yun, and his name is very famous among Thai people. Mr. Sutichai Yun is currently Chief Advisor to Editorial and Management Boards of the Nation Multimedia Group, Thailand's leading media company that operates two digital TV channels and three national dailies. He also anchors a number of widely watched local and international affairs news programs. The two digital TV channels I just mentioned are Nation TV, the news and current affairs channel, and the second one, Now TV, a business variety channel. The three newspapers of the group include The Nation, the Thailand's leading English language daily, Khom Chatลึก, a mass Thep Thurakit, a business daily. Mr. Sutichai Yun was named a Nieman Fellow in 1979, joining a distinguished forum of journalists from the United States and several other countries from the prestigious Nieman Fellowship at Harvard University. And besides his management role, Mr. Sutichai continues to anchor current affairs TV programs. He also regularly conducts TV interviews with leading personalities in various fields. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Sutichai Yun on stage. And also, once again, I would like to call upon Mrs. Lamia Morshid from Bangladesh, Ms. Monica Sain from Taiwan, and Mom Rachawong Ditnada Disakun from Thailand to proceed to the stage once again to our discussion. And may I now leave the floor to Mr. Sutichai Yun. ขอบพระคุณครับ
Thank you. Please. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with Kun Chai Ditnada. You seem to be quite intimidated by the two ladies. Right?
Yes, indeed.
And you were predicting that the world is coming to an end. The UN representative is not here, but...
Run away.
There, at the back.
He's coming back.
Oh, Stefanos, I would like to give you the first right of response to Kun Chai Ditnada accusation. Very serious accusation that has ignored a very important part of the world's problems in trying to attain sustainable development goals, migration. But I overheard you telling Dr. Chirayu that, no, that's not the case. We actually put migration into that. So could you give us a clear explanation? A microphone, please. Because I think we have to be fair.
Yeah, sure.
To the keynote speaker. Because he might not come again if he doesn't. The microphone?
Microphone?
I could try to speak up. Yes. Please face the audience.
No.
Oh, here. Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
This is good.
So, yes, I'm just reading because I wanted to make sure that what I'm going to say here, it stands. So, migration is part of the Sustainable Development Goal 10, which is the Sustainable Development Goal on reducing inequalities. And there's one specific target, which is the target 7 of Sustainable Development Goal 10, which says facilitate orderly, safe, regular, and responsible migration and mobility of people, including through implementation of planned and well-managed migration policies. And then, if you see furthermore the 2030 Agenda talking about this, it talks about the need to focus on migration because it recognizes migration as an emerging issue. And also in the preamble of the Sustainable Development Goals, there's a clear recognition of the huge role that migration will have on shaping the future of sustainable development. So it is there. It's not a goal on migration, but it's under inequality and it's covered. When it comes to the weapons, there's nothing on weapons, but there's a huge goal on peace. And I think that, I mean, by definition, peace means no weapons. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace and justice.
So, Kun Chai, do you accept that explanation?
No.
Please state your case.
No, if my case is that when you said about the number 10 is the reduce inequalities. You mean, this is very wide. So you can shift anything into that.
Yes. That's the whole idea of the UN.
Well, the UN has to change to be really precise and actually can really work on it.
Right.
You see, it's a lot of talk. Forget about talk. Let's get down to the business and do it.
We might need another seminar on this issue. Dr. Chirayu. But Kun Chai, you said just now that this is the first time that the three of you have met here.
Yes.
And it's time to sit down, to exchange ideas, to find similarities. Okay, what do you find common among the three countries that we hear today, especially from Bangladesh and from Taiwan?
One thing is in common is that we are helping people. All right? We're not thinking about ourselves. Yunus is not getting paid, so to speak, the interest rate. So it's they generate profit. But that profit doesn't go to Yunus at all. And whereas Suu Kyi also, put the money in there and build this, that, and help others. And Suu Kyi is a bit more to it, is that it's not their money. They get it from the people that Suu Kyi has to have the trust of the people. Even though they started very, very small. But what they have done, they earn the respect of the Taiwanese. You see, so it actually spreading out. So now it's coming to Thailand. Both organizations come to Thailand too. So what I see is that
many things that I have to learn. I haven't actually gone through all this, but I have to learn more about these two organizations. And if these two organizations, we have something in common. We are helping the people from, not from thinking,
Yes.
but from the heart and soul. This is how I feel.
But so far you have not worked together.
Oh, I don't even know them. They don't know me either.
Well, this is a good chance.
Well, that's why I told them that we better sit down and talk.
Lamia, what are the similarities? How can the three countries, the three foundations work together?
I think, there was a lot of commonality. It's all about bottom up, from the people, not top down. All about building local communities, all about using your own resources, not depending on outside, defining your own goals and becoming sustainable and independent of outside. Grameen Bank has not taken any outside money since 1995. It is financing this huge financial activity.
So it's self-generating.
Self-generation. I think that's very key. And I think all of us
Doing the same thing.
doing the same thing, and all of us are actually also signing up to the SDGs. I think we should actually congratulate the UN for putting this agenda, which is so accessible to everyone, to big organizations, but also to the individual. And these icons, which are very attractive, all of us put up those icons in our presentation. I noticed that. So that's very good that, there's a piece that each of us can play, each of our foundations, each of us individually, each of us as governments and companies. So that was also another similarity. And I think this is at the core of it. If enough people work on these principles and unleash, as I said, the creativity and the energies to do good, I don't think there's any problem that we can't overcome. And I think that's been our lesson, and I think it's very similar experiences for my colleagues here. So
Yeah, Monica?
Yeah, I guess we are quite similar in a lot of ways, we want to spread the seeds of love. So I think this great love is the most common thing for the three organizations and institutions. So let me use a PowerPoint presentation to share to everyone for this one.
I'll give you
so
5
I guess,
minutes.
Yeah.
No more than 5 minutes.
It's actually very quick. There. So, a lot of people actually, we try to feed, feed the people. So when we feed the hungry, then we save them for one day, right? And then teach a person how to farm, then you feed them for life. Yeah. But then what does Tzuti do is Tzuti gives the seeds and teaches them to be self-resilience. And I think this is the same for all of us. We all want to work towards the SDGs that we have, the UN has already put up. And all these things, the main common goal is to leave no one behind. And I think this is what the three organizations are doing. We try to, reach out to the people, to the vulnerable communities, and do not leave them behind, because they are, the vulnerable communities are oftentimes forgotten. And I think based on the presentations that we have done this morning, I think this is also one of the things that, put us together. So it's actually, a call for an action. And I think, this call for an action is the same for everyone, with one awakening, with one person who cares, and then with one choice, with one action, with one initiative, with one community, and with one mind, with one dream. So I think this is true for everyone. This is what we call, that is why right now, not only the three of us, even the other organizations are doing this. We want to call for an action. Yeah, because we believe that, grassroots change, actually, the grassroots change for global impact. We start from the basic. We go back to the basics. If today we don't have any cell phones, how are we going to survive? If today we don't have any internet, how are we going to survive?
No, we cannot.
Exactly. A lot of people say we can. Yeah, 100 centuries ago, or they can live and they survive. But right now, without a phone, it would already make us go crazy. But without a wallet, we can still survive, right?
But I noticed Monica was playing with a cell phone all the time.
No, I was trying to take down notes. Yeah, so I guess, it is through this kind of interaction that we learn from each other. And then as what our two speakers said a while ago, there are a lot of things that we have to learn from each other. There are a lot of things that we can synergize, because it's actually through this kind of learning that we learn and we awaken ourselves to make this world a better place.
There will be people who say your stories are too good to be true. The topic of this panel discussion is challenges, right? The sustainable development challenges in Asia. Challenges is a polite way of saying problems, right? So what are some of the obstacles? What are some of the real problems that are affecting your goal towards total achievement? Is the government a problem for you? The bureaucracy?
You're talking to yourself.
I'm not supposed to be saying anything. I'm supposed to be just asking questions.
No, I put it this way. I think the whole world problem, we have to identify first. All right? But I come up to the conclusion, personally, has nothing to do with others. But I try to think why the world is like this. All right? So I came up with the 3 Gs. Gs, 3 Gs. The first one is greed.
Greed.
Yes. When you're born, you know nothing. You have no greed. But when you're growing up further and further, and all these guys are all greedy. All of them.
Except-
Yes, all of them.
except you.
Don't deny.
Except
no,
you.
I am too. Because the trend of all these things, rouse you. Can you get up in the morning? You come out, you see signboard. You go on the television, you get the you people nation. You are the one that help the rich to rob the poor.
Yeah.
Because the nation, you have the advertising, about this, that, and so on, and how good of this car, that car, or whatever it is. So
We were expecting
the media is robbing the rich.
We were expecting Doi Tung to help us become a non-profit, a public broadcasting station. We're waiting for that day. Anyway, go on.
We will talk to Dr. G. Raju later on that matter. But anyway, my G's, the problem is growth. No, the greed.
Yes.
So now this greed is in everybody, and each one differs, right? They want more cars, they want houses. If you don't get motorbike, you walk. You want bicycle, and once you get bicycle, not enough. You want motorbike. After the motorbike, you come with the let's say the pickup.
That's greed.
And later
right?
on, come along
That's
to Rolls
greed.
Royce
And the
so on.
second G?
Well, this leads on to growth, right? Why on earth every company is sitting, a lot of them down here, they have to have the marketing, 20% of the marketing,
Growth,
10%
right.
the growth, so on. So growth really, what he said, UN said.
Yes.
What had happened? This growth, it deteriorated the planet. Without these companies, they don't have the responsibility.
So we shouldn't even talk about GDP growth anymore.
Why you talk about GDP? That's wrong too.
Yes.
Even the government, you have to have the growth.
Yes.
Why can't you sit still and, be happy with it? You see, so business, GDP, the government, all wrong. That's
So
growth.
greed, growth, and the third G?
Well, the third G, it leads to global imbalances. Look at the planet. Look at the, what is it, the climate change.
Yeah.
Look at everything. You see, so the global imbalances, that's why
So
the world is going to come to the end. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes. In your work, what is the biggest impediment?
The biggest, you said it.
I
The
said it.
governments.
The government. Okay, I'll go
No,
to...
wait. I haven't,
I won't do the Lamia.
I haven't finished.
Grassroots.
It's not the government alone. The worst of the lot at the moment is worse than the government and makes the government bad because of the politicians.
Oh, wow.
The whole world.
That's going to be a long story.
No. But the thing is, the politicians is not in Thailand alone. In America, look at the race between the two.
Yeah.
See what happens. A lot of people is not going to vote.
President Trump?
I don't know. You said it, I don't say that.
Okay. What are the biggest problems that affect your work?
Okay, I wanted to say that for Grameen Bank, I talked about it briefly, is this nationwide institution in Bangladesh that's financed entirely on local resources and not taking money from outside, providing a key financial service to the poorest people. They take money, use it to finance their grassroots activities. They're paying back. Now the bank is a net debtor to the borrowers. They're more money in the bank than the bank has given to the poorest people. And this has really had a kind of a big impact from development from below. And it's proven that it's sustainable. But this has had no dent in the global financial system. Still, all the banks in the world exclude 50% of the world's people. It's a kind of exercising a financial apartheid. So the important thing is it's good to have good sentiments about doing good and so on, but it has to be institutionalized. We've shown that a financial institution owned by the poor can work for the poor, does not need to depend on outside money. And yet, the world over, microcredit still remains as a very kind of a small side activity. It has not been absorbed as a center of central tenet of any financial institution. So that's very important. I think we have to create institutions that really include people, not exclude. The banking system is based on excluding people. People who have assets can get assets. Those who don't have assets are left out. It should be just the other way. People who have less assets should have access to more assets. And so, and what he said, this wealth concentration, there's a writing of Professor Yunus that I brought with me on how wealth concentration be stopped. We have this Oxfam statistic that says that 62 of the richest people in the world own more than the bottom 50% of the world's population. This is getting fewer and fewer. And and it's not because necessarily that those 62 people are wanting it to be. It's a system. This greed-based financial system that is all about maximizing profits at the disregard of everything else is leading the world in that direction. So we need to go back to the drawing board and redefine. And we are saying that social business, which is business that is driven by social goals, but while being sustainable, will create that kind of more balanced economic system, and that it will bring out the human values. This profit maximization has created all this advertising, creating needs to have and gather more and accumulate. Has to be something that has to be undone. And social business, we are saying, could be one way of achieving that. But you need support of the government, of policymakers. People have to buy into it, and that takes time. So.
Monica, what are your biggest problems?
I guess the biggest problems that our foundation gets is the people. So we are not in any. We are not particular into which people, which kind of organization or institutions. But I think basically it's people. As he mentioned a while ago, greed. Actually, greed is our greatest enemy. Greed, hatred, and anger. So these three are people's greatest enemy. So we actually come from a lot of, different races, different religion, different, backgrounds. But at the end of the day, we have a lot of commonalities. And I think this is something that we all have to agree on. So why don't we just, so our foundation, what we do is we try to find these universal truths, gratitude, love, and respect. We try to promote this in our daily life, and we try to stop discussing about what makes us different. Yeah. So instead of focusing on the insimilarities, instead of focusing on which things separates us, the foundation actually chooses to find the commonalities for us to promote the better or the good for the world. Yeah.
Is the government a supporter or and advice?
Thank you for that question, because, actually, Tzu Chi Foundation, we have gone up to today. So we have been here for 50 years. Our Tzu Chi office here has been, our branch office in Thailand has been here for 22 years. Yeah, so we actually partner with different organizations, different institutions, and even government agencies. So
When you say even government agencies, what does it mean?
we actually work with one.
Yeah, sure.
We have to be one.
So
in
what
our
is your
mission.
experience in dealing with governments?
Of
Good,
course,
bad, so-so?
I would say that to the up to date, we have done so well. I think, with the achievements that we have done, we have good relationships with the government, because we believe, Tzu Chi Foundation does not actually get involved in any political issues. So we actually, whoever sits on the government today is actually our friend, and if he doesn't sit today, we still are friends. And whoever sits the next day or the next time or the next chapter, then we are still friends with them, because we all promote this great love, as cliche as it may be, but it's true. This is something that we try to impose through, not only to the volunteers, but also to the recipients. So, the Typhoon Haiyan, the earthquake in Nepal. So we have done a lot of relief works, and all these places, especially in Nepal, last year, we really know no one in Nepal. And we had to start from, ground zero to work our ladder up. And I can still clearly remember when we were supposed to step foot in Nepal, we were very, very afraid that Nepal might just, reject us and let us go back, because we are from Taiwan. And Nepal has a one China policy. But I think we were successful in trying to convey the real message of the foundation.
But Taiwan also follows one China policy.
No, we don't.
You do. You do. Officially,
yes,
you do.
Yes.
You just claim that
Naughty boy.
mainland is part of yours.
Yes.
Naughty boy. Naughty boy.
We don't go into the political side. Yeah.
Okay, that's not the case in Bangladesh. Because the more successful that Yunus Center becomes, the more threatened the government feels, right? How do you deal with that?
Well, the thing is, you have to actually acknowledge first the implicit support of the government, because Grameen Bank could not have grown to become a nationwide bank without the implicit support.
Yes.
They allowed it to happen. So we have to...
Implicit.
Yeah.
Why not explicit?
Because we're saying that they should not get involved in the financial services giving. Because when the government get involved, then there's a kind of distortion that takes place.
Then the bureaucrats come in.
Yes. Then there's politicized. There's this experience of government-owned financial institutions that will, before an election, forgive the loans, and then the whole system goes to pot. So we've always said it has to be create the enabling environment. The government has to create the enabling environment, but let the banking services be provided independently by the bank and keep its neutrality. But it's true that when you become large, and when you become an important actor like that, then you start coming up against vested interests.
Right.
And this whole thing about where does the role of NGOs end and where does the government... And I think we're facing a little bit of that right now, because the NGO sector in Bangladesh, including Grameen, has become very big. But our argument is that it's only grown to this because neither the private sector nor the government has been able to reach the services. We have been able to reach, because small organizations are flexible, can get to the far-lying areas, that these have only sprung up because there's been a failure in government to reach those services or the traditional private sector. And that's why social business has a role to play, because we're trying to reach the unreached. A lot of people will say, if you have no desire to make profit from your personal profit for investors from your business, isn't that an unfair competition to a private company?
Right.
We're saying the private company is not even going to where we are going. No one is interested to go and provide drinking water to people who are having arsenic contaminated water. So that argument is hollow in that sense.
Yeah.
When you put on your social business glasses, you see opportunities that are very different from the profit making lenses. So I think that's important, and everyone has a part to play. And I would like to see actually a country like Bangladesh redefine its growth trajectory or its development trajectory based on social values and social business rather than this consumption-based, greed-based, accumulative type of development.
I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Please feel free to raise your hand. The microphone will go to you, and please ask questions, especially to Kun Chai. Kun Chai, how do we make sustainability sexy?
My. I may have to consult Bantoon.
Yes. I mean, making it so popular that it becomes cool to talk about sustainability. It is not something that is so far away from your daily life.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
You know, to make it sexy is that you have to be able to do it and make a success story, but not you yourself. For example, if you come to see me, you want to see some sexy about it, about sustainability. I will send you to Nan,
Yes.
Udon, Khon Kaen, Kalasin, Phetchaburi, and whatnot that we're
To
doing.
see real things in action.
You talk to the people, to the local people, what was before we came, and when we came, what had happened, and let the people talk, not us. You see, because when we talk, hey, come on, we're not actually those people, but we encourage them. We give them, you know, I trigger them to think and trigger them to look after themselves, not waiting for the government. Look, come on, the government can't help you, you know, because the whole country, how can they do it? Don't wait for anybody. Get up and do it. But in the past, Thailand, in concerning politics and so on, they try to help people
Yes.
and then make people. I say that all the Thai government try to make the people weak so that they can manage the people, because the people have to come to the government. That's why the government can sit there and become the big shot and so on. That's wrong. You see, that's one thing that I think is going to be make sexy. You go and talk to the people and let them explain what the past, what had happened. For example, like reforestation that I do in Nan, the fire, every year, 42,000 right, every year. But since we went in 3 years ago, 2 years ago there was only 84 right. That's all. And now zero. How come?
Zero.
Yes, zero each year. Don't ask me. Go and talk to the people. That's why it's going to be sexy. Pasan went. Was it sexy? Ask him. He went. He went last week with all the.
Dr. Prasan, would you like to comment? Please.
Please.
Microphone, please.
Actually, I told him he should be the. I told him he.
He's a former central bank governor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bank of
Please.
Thailand. Governor Bank of Thailand.
Please stand up.
We want to take.
We need full participation.
Participate,
Yes.
though not as lively as Kun Chai. First, I think I would think that what you three are doing much admirable, and you all three should continue with the mission. But as Kun Sutichai already raised a very important point, and I do believe that each of you are also facing lots of challenges. The case of Nan that Kun Chai did not mention, that I had a chance to visit, also had real big challenges. You know why the Merit group try to persuade them not to expand the lands into the forest, but their family is expanding and they need additional revenue and incomes to feed themselves. While the group trying to have promote opportunity for their children to get study in outside the provinces. But when they went back, their family did not welcome them, wishing them to do something more noble than than agriculture. Certainly the challenges are real, perhaps if that can be called the sexy part of it. And it's not easy at all, that's my impression. These challenges, in fact, involve lots of big players too in the system. Whether it be, you mentioned the government, or in fact the bigger player than the government is the marketplace, or the so-called the working of the market mechanism, which is much more powerful than the government. But I would like to comment that in each group of stakeholders, there are both what we call favorable and unfavorable elements. In public policy makers, you can possibly find the good elements while you observe lots of bad elements.
Yeah.
In marketplaces also, very interesting to listen to the case of the Yunus who tried to, Yunus Foundation trying to make use of the marketplace to the objective. So the key probably is, we all know that while you work so hard, the counter forces are bigger and more powerful. And while you move ahead one step, they are turning your efforts back 10 steps. The real challenge is how to overcome this dynamism. Unavoidably, I think one will have to look at a broader perspective to try to convince and build up larger alliances of all those favorable elements in all the big players or so-called stakeholders. Yes, it is very important to start with ethics and try to build the merits on who the person is and build upon that. But the other two very major players, one involving laws, regulations, and policy, public policy makers, and another more powerful is the marketplaces. So the challenge is trying to identify the favorable elements in all those big players, build alliance so that one day, perhaps on a net basis, the merit forces will overcome the unfavorable counter forces. Thank you so much.
Yes. Well, Dr. Prasan knows what he's talking about when he talks about counter forces, because he's working on reform of state enterprises.
Right.
And he faces a lot of counter forces.
Right. Right. I think the most important thing here, I mean, all of us have said it, but I want to make it very clear that without government, we can't do it. All right?
That's true.
But government alone is not good enough. There got to be 3 levels of people who are involved with us. One is the government has to be in with us. So we have to try and convince governments. That means ministers, even in the cabinets. That's what we do. We have to look. One of the advisors of the ministers is here. I take ministers out to see our project and let them feel it.
Feel it. Really feel it.
Not telling them what to do, but let them feel it from the people.
But some of them just want to take a picture and then go home, right?
Then I just kick them back. Try me for size. You see, now the second thing is that the local government, that means the governors and all the officials in the province or in the state, or whatever it is. That's the second level we have to buy into. And this is the worst for wear. All right? And the third is the communities. When I say communities, I don't say communities like the head of the village. 70 to 80% of every house and every home agree that this is their problem, needs, and wants. Then I work from the bottom up, and I sell ideas to the top. So that the government, the cabinets going along with us, the local people, we know exactly because we identify problem, needs, and wants of the people. And we have the knowledge. If we can't get the knowledge, we can get from other people, other stakeholders. But we join this together. Then in the middle, the governor and the people in the province cannot do anything because the bottom needed it. The top is the policy. So actually,
So the real stakeholders are from the bottom up.
must do. Must do from bottom up. Because up there they don't know what the people needs. What are the problems and needs of the people? They don't know it. So these people, they live that. So you have to learn from them.
So, main thing is how do you make sure the people don't think this is charity?
Yeah.
That they have got to do it themselves.
You better be. Yeah, that's
Yes.
right.
How? Because most people in a lot of countries, especially in certain countries, I wouldn't say Thailand is one of them, but populism in politics, as Kun Chai mentioned, is very strong. People expect things from the government, from politicians. They will not work on themselves if they think that free gifts are coming, freebies are coming. But the UNO Center has been very successful in waking people up and say, you've got to do it yourself. How do you get charity out of that mentality?
The thing is, I guess for us, an important foundation has been set with this microcredit network because Grameen Bank has 8.5 million, but there are several replicators in the country. So now 80% of the rural people of Bangladesh are under this microcredit net, and they know that in order to access the second, third loan, they have to pay back. So the poorest people are also very intelligent and canny. For them, they know that one single handout does not mean that they will get another handout. Whereas returning that loan, for them, keeping that credit line open, that I pay back and I will get the second and the third and the fourth, that's very important. And it's changed the culture. And especially the working with the women has been very important because we found Grameen Bank started with both men and women. But over time, while both men and women were both paying equally well, the women were actually investing into the family and taking a much longer range view of things. They were investing in the children's education and the children's health.
Yeah.
And so the developmental impact of lending to the women was much greater. So Grameen Bank started shifting, and now 97%. And these women, many of them receiving money for the first time in their lives, very important that they keep this line open. They know that they want to be able to go back. So this has changed the culture quite a lot. There's still, of course, there's need for charity and relief. When a disaster strikes, we can't be asking for repayments. But I think people are willing to pay for services if they see that this is a benefit to their long-term
Kun Chai, now you know why there are two ladies and only one man today. Because in Bangladesh, women work better than men in this kind of projects.
What are you talking about? Thailand is the same.
Really?
I go with women.
Yeah.
Because when you lend the money, but I don't lend the money.
Yeah.
I set up banks.
Yeah.
Pig bank, chicken bank, seed bank of all sorts of seeds. I set up the bank. All right, it's our money. And then set up that bank and they borrow. No interest. But they do it and they pay back. So that this bank, once it's established, it's more bigger and bigger, then I move this bank to another village and so on and so forth. But I do lend them to women.
Only women.
Yeah, but because the women are much better than men.
Yes.
The women, they have responsibility.
Right.
They look after the husband and the kid. I don't lend to the men because they go and cockfighting.
Yes.
Gambling,
Gambling.
drinking.
You name it, you know it.
Monica, charity, basically, I think, is what Chuji has been doing.
Yes.
But is it charity or is it sustainability?
Actually, our definition of charity is self-sustainable. Yeah, so let me show a few pictures from a PowerPoint presentation that I have prepared because I want to share this case to everybody. So, as what the two speakers have mentioned a while ago, boys, if you're drinking.
Is it the same everywhere?
Yeah.
It's almost everywhere.
Yeah,
but
it's
however,
It's natural.
Natural.
Yes. But we believe that everybody is equal. So whether you're a man, you're a woman, we actually respect you for who you are. So this is actually a case that I want to share to everybody.
Yes.
Can you please share my PowerPoint presentation? So as I said earlier, you know, Tzu Chi is a compassion in action. So this is actually a flooding that happened in Philippines last 2013. The biggest typhoon, Haiyan, hit the Philippines. So when Philippines was hit by typhoon, what did we see? Helpless, despair, and loss. All the people are just waiting for relief, which is what you have said earlier. Everybody was waiting for relief. But you know what Tzu Chi Foundation did? Tzu Chi Foundation did Cash for Relief. So what is Cash for Relief? This is actually a very new program of Tzu Chi. So because when a disaster happens, why don't we change it right now? Why don't we encourage these people to stand up on their own, to clean up their own community? Because at the end of the day, the house is theirs to live. The community is them to live. So why don't we encourage them? Encourage them, motivate them to clean up their own houses, to clean up their own communities and school. And at the end of the day, we give them the cash relief. So a lot of people were like questioning us, why do you put up such program, a cash for relief? It's hard to manage whether this person had whether this person had really cleaned up or not. But you know what Tzu Chi Foundation believes in? Our three no's. No one in this world that I don't love, I don't trust, and I don't forgive. We always try to impart to them because, as I said earlier, the greatest challenge of everyone is actually people. And if we don't change the people, if we don't change the root, then we will never solve any problem. So what we do is when we start our Cash for Relief, we try to have a 20 minutes or 30 minutes session to them, sharing to them what Tzu Chi Foundation is all about, what our principles is all about, and some core values, that the cultural values that I mentioned
you lend
earlier.
them money? You lend them
we
money?
don't lend them money. We tell them, we speak to them. And then at the end of the day, after they clean up, we give them the Cash for Relief. So we do it in a daily basis. But mind you, this is not a salary that we give to them. This is a relief money. It's an assistance. So why do we give this money? Because we anyway are going to help them. So instead of just spoon feeding them with all the things that we can give them, why don't we make them stand up? You know, we have always said the greatest enemy of a person is it is not a big challenge for us to fall.
Right.
But the hardest thing is we don't learn how to rise up from where we fall. So this is something that we always try to impart to our people. To these people, to the people that we don't know, we want them to stand up on their own. So there, we spread the seeds of love through this kind of gathering. 10,000 people in one place. All 10,000 people going to clean up their community, going to clean up their houses, going to clean up their,
but they need
their
tools.
schools.
They need tools
We
and they need
provide the
equipment.
tools, yes. And surprisingly, the tools, sometimes, even if I remember it clearly when we did this high-end relief effort. During the first day, when we went there, we saw that a lot of despair, a lot of loss. People already almost lost hope, and a lot of them are actually wanting to leave this place and totally abandon this place. But we cannot do that. So what we did is we started the Cash for Relief even if we didn't have the cleaning materials. But these people are very creative enough. They're very innovative enough. What they did is from all the trashes that they see, they try to find some materials that they can use as a cleaning material. So from spreading seeds of love, we see the transformation. In 18 days, we were able to clean up the whole of the city of Tacloban, which was the mostly hit area. So 18 days with 300,000 people doing it every day.
And they will be very proud because this is their own work.
Yes, because we
and
always
they will
tell
keep
them.
it. They will keep it.
Yes,
Ownership.
it's empowerment. It's dignifying. Give them
Ownership.
dignity. Try to, let them feel that we, Tzu Chi Foundation, was just a tool for are the heroes of your community. So this is something that we try to we see initially when we went to Tacloban, almost everything was closed. even no shops. And all the foods, from initially 5 pesos, it already went to 30 pesos. Like an egg. Normally, we can just buy it in like 2 pesos. But because of this disaster, people tried to use this as a means to earn money. They sell it for 20 pesos.
Greed.
Exactly. So what we did is we tried to, give them, we tried to inculcate to them the cultural values, the values education program. And then we started with the restoration. And at the end of the day, a camaraderie. Everybody started to, work together because they know that, this world is a big place and no man is an island. We can never save the whole world. It is only through working together, working with different institutions, working with your fellow brothers and sisters, fellow neighborhood. That is the only time that you can come up with a great camaraderie.
The community becomes stronger.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What you have done is like what I said.
Yes.
Trickling them to
Yes.
think. But how did they trust you?
It's-
That they come out together like 300,000 people. Obviously, it got to start from a very small group and gradually built up. How did you earn the trust of these people?
Very good question. Actually, a lot of people
Because if
are
you don't
asking.
get the trust, it won't work.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
So, that actually really happened. On the first day that we reached Tacloban, we said we're going to give out money. And you know what they had in mind? Oh, come on. There's no such thing as free in this world. You say we clean up our own house and we get money from you? How can we do that? So at the first day, there are only around 600 people who came in. But then, what Tzu does is, we only say what we do. And we only preach, we only share what we do. With sincerity, with a heart of gratitude, with respect and love. People will understand and can feel your sincerity. So we are a human-based organization. The foundation does not rely on any technologies, but it's more on human touch. How can a simple hug, make somebody feel comfortable? This is something that our foundation has. It's a humanistic approach.
Did you give them
You
money
are stealing my
daily?
job.
No.
Go ahead.
You can't read my mind. Okay?
Go ahead, sir.
So this is a...
No, this is great. This is
Dialogue.
great. Please.
So I ask you that you have to give them money daily, right? After they clean it. Right?
Yes.
So actually they didn't trust you. They trust the cash.
Exactly. At first, they trust the
Yeah.
cash. Because this is actually a
Well,
tool.
the same here.
Yes.
Yes.
I know it. I walk my walk. God
Right.
damn it. I know
Yeah.
this is the cash that they believe in. And eventually they know that you don't earn
Yes.
anything and you has nothing to do with them.
Right.
And still coming over here and help them. So they become what we call
Yes.
And
someone that
also,
we trusted.
Tzu Chi has been known, although not everywhere, but Tzu Chi's name over the years has created that trust, I think. And I think, of course, with cash comes trust. And if they live up to their words,
That's right.
then the trust will
More and
be
more.
Yeah.
permanent.
Eventually, you're going to have 25 cents every day or 50 cents every day in the bamboo.
We
for
do
the
have.
There's a really, really smart.
We do have it. Actually, in this area in Tacloban, when everybody was devastated, even their clothes.
Yes.
They were not even able to save their clothes. And even when we were doing the cleanup, we were able to see a lot of cash. Just, in those pile of trash. Because even if they tried to save all the things that they can save, the tide, the waves that
take
that
away.
they had to face they couldn't actually save anything. But what happened was when we shared this 50 centavos daily, the humble beginning of the foundation, it touched their heart. And we did
Is that in
in Thai
dollars?
dollar, in Taiwanese.
No, Thai,
in
no, there's no 50 centavos?
50.
They would have get about 150,000
I think
a day.
it's
300,000
A
people.
dollar? More than-
half a dollar. That's 150,000 a day.
Yes?
Into the
Into the bamboo.
bamboo. Yeah, 50 cents.
Yes.
300,000 people. $150,000 a day. Not bad.
But mind you, we did not tell them to do that. And you know what happened? Actually, this is actually the cycle of love. I think this great love actually plays a very important role in everything.
Yes.
Because when we shared that, they felt the sincerity. They felt that we were one with them. So what they did is they did not have any bamboo.
No.
What they did is they used plastic bottles. And the plastic bottles, they put a hole on top.
Yeah.
And then they put money inside. And then at the end of, on the third day, they came back to us saying, we also have donations for the foundation. And that donation, they also tried to get donations to get the love from the other people.
Right.
So I think we have a very, very interesting picture here that I really wanted to share to everyone, because it's really something that we were at all. Okay, so when we were doing when we were doing the relief missions, the picture on the right
coins here.
side,
All
the
the
picture
coins.
on the right side, this
Take a look.
one is actually in Nepal. And then on the left side is actually in the Philippines. So, I think this is something that is really, making us, giving us more transformation of people, not only the community, not only the material things. When we see the transformation of the people, it actually motivates us. This money that we are seeing here, these are money donated by the poorest of the poorest. They are money donated by the survivors and not the richest of the richest or the tycoons. And this money is actually more valuable because you know that this money came from their loving hearts. Yeah.
Right. Questions, please? I'm sure you have a lot of questions. Please, Stefanos.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to be a little bit unpleasant.
Yes. Go ahead.
I do believe on the power of love, but I think the power of love cannot substitute the state. And I'm very much afraid that with actions like, relief should be a basic state obligation. The state exists so it can make sure that people can be safe. So if we promote the approach that we will pay cash to people to make relief, it's like sending a signal to the state that you can be a lazy bureaucratic state, a lazy bureaucratic. I'm afraid that although in this case you had this achievement, it might send the wrong signals to the governments, it might send the wrong signals. And
You are replacing the role of the state.
yes, and it's charity. And I have the feeling that charity, it's not the right approach. I find the approach of the social and the social businesses, but at the end, what you described, you have done, is the guilt off from people that they feel guilty. And I really think that while you say that you are not, we should not give to the poor a fish, but to learn them how to fish, at the end, actions like this are just giving them a way that, okay, I will step in, I have love, I've collected money, and I will do it for you. That's my main concern here.
Can I?
Please.
No. I take it.
Was your question directed to her or to him?
To her.
Anyone?
To her.
To her, but you want to answer first.
No, the thing is, I want to say one point here. I think I'm talking to the Thai people too. All right, to the Thai people
Yes.
too. A lot of things in Thailand that happen, and it works. And they say that Thailand works because of His Majesty the King, the Queen or the royal family. Let me put this one first, right?
Yes.
But actually, if you think they did where the government doesn't get through it, they haven't reached it. So those people needed help badly. Are you going to leave them? So the royal government go and help. Sometimes, let's say about 40 years ago, when I was private secretary to the king's mother, people talk to me that the royal family is really working instead of the government.
Oh, I got so furious. I had a lot of meeting with the government officials that we only do that you cannot reach. But if we do it and you can reach, please take over. We're not competing with the government. This, again, using the Thai case, I think it's just the same. If they didn't go in there, which government is going to do it?
You will allow me, sir, to believe that. You allow me to believe that the king and the queen, it's an institution, and of course an institution will step in, but a foundation, which is a private foundation, is not an institution. So I see the point for the Thai concept here, and I understand it because yes, of course, of the kingdom with a private foundation.
No, please let me. Maybe I didn't put across.
Yeah.
No, maybe I didn't answer properly about His Majesty the King.
I think Savannah is saying that in the Thai case he understands.
Yeah,
It's
right?
not.
Like
It's not. They don't understand it. You know why? Why don't you think of the king as a good leadership? Don't think about he has a king in the name. He's just a leader. And this leader can be foundation, can be anybody. So think of the king as a leader, not institution. I don't buy that. I will go against this forever. And no, seriously, because he's a leader. And people believe what he's doing. So that's why they're doing together. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
It's the same
Okay.
thing. No, it's the same thing.
Actually, I would like to echo what he said a while ago. We actually don't compete with any government official or any government agencies. So what we actually do is, okay, let me just move a little backward, because what I have presented a while ago was the achievement, but what all the people doesn't know was how we came up with this kind of program. Because when we arrived, Tacloban, this city, what we did is every time when we do any relief mission, we first go to the government. We try to understand how the government is going to respond to this thing. What are the funds or what are the plans of the government? What can they do? What they cannot do? How can the government and private institutions, NGOs, do together? And I think this is something that United Nations is also doing. Typhoon Haiyan, we were working closely with OCHA and different kinds of organizations. And I remember it clearly, we also worked with UNDP because UNDP also started doing this kind of cash for relief. But UNDP said they will not be able to take care of the other part.
You actually sat down with the government, with the other organizations to discuss a plan, right?
It's actually more of, okay, we first make a visit, a formal visit to the government agency. Whoever is assigned in this government, we try to understand the current situation. We try to understand the current plans of the government, what they can do, what they cannot do. And then later on, we come back and the team decides on a plan. And after that one, we try to communicate with United Nations. Because normally in big disasters like that, UN plays a very, very important role because they actually try to divide us. We have the, different kinds of sector. So we try to register ourselves in those sectors that we think we can partake or we can participate. So I think that's the answer to your question. I'm not so sure if I answered.
Lamia, would you like to add on this?
I actually want to respond with corporations. A lot of people criticize us that why are you working with these multinational corporations? They're evil, they're greedy. But actually those institutions, they're also organizations made of people, as I mentioned, people are made up of selfish of the company is designed in a way that it keeps sucking. That's why I was saying that why it's important to have new policies and to have new institutions. I wanted to just give an example of the collaboration with Danone. Danone is a global leader in dairy. It's one of the top 5 French company. And when they signed did this joint venture with us, which said that they would get no dividends from this small business in Bangladesh, they ran into a problem to raise the money for it, because the charter of their company required that it has to be an investment that maximizes profit for the shareholder. So they weren't coming up, and it's a small sum of money. It was just €500,000. So they decided that they would send a letter out to all of their shareholders saying that we are doing this venture in Bangladesh where the shareholders can invest some part of their money, but it will be for the social business. It will you get back the investment, but you will not get back any profits. And they raised, for a need of €500,000, they raised €35 million. Wow. And this was completely a surprise to the company. And so they created a separate fund, and it's called the Danone Communities Fund, and it's basically now financing social businesses, the way we define it, zero dividend to investors all over the world. So this, what I'm trying to say is that, an expression of what people want. We created this, gave them the choice, all of that, where all the employees of the company said, how come only the shareholders, why can't we be involved? €5 million. So there's now this €70 million euro fund that is financing social business the way. So I'm saying that it's about creating the options, and this is where governments have a role, because the policies that we frame, the institutions that we create, have to reflect an expression of what we as a society want. And that's where there's a very important role of the government to enable that we should have policies that really bring out what we want for our society and reflect the aspirations of that. And I think, businesses have an extremely important role to play. I think there's something wrong with the way they're built that is making them go in a direction that's destructive to the planet, that's focusing wealth. And so I think every kind of framework for action. So I want to just mention that business and government also have important roles to play, and that good people inhabit those organizations too. So,
my last question. I think one of the biggest challenges for us here is how do we make sure that this concept of sustainability stop after we die, after this world comes to an end, as you predicted.
Put it away, using my example of the Mafalung Foundation. First of all, we changed the board member, to the elderly people, to move up, to become advisors. Without them, we wouldn't come this way, this far. Secondly, we bring in 40 years old to be new board members. That's the critical thing is that the board member has to have the vision and have to be from many categories, not just the business or the NGOs, no, so many things, put together HR and whatnot. Secondly is that when we have the people working with us, now that we are somebody, so we tend to have people waiting to come and join us. And these people graduate from Cambridge, Oxford, Stanford, wherever, the whole world, so to speak. So they are very sharp. But they want to quit from business as well as from government officials to come and join us, because I think they think that this is the way they love to help people. You see, even though they can reduce the salary, they'll do it. But it's for me to try to keep up the salary, to become not as a foundation. It has to be somewhat in the first or the third quartile of the business people. So we have to make a career path for them, because we are self-sufficient.
Yes.
You see, so we're not no donation. So we can set the standard and so on. So this is within the. Furthermore, is that when we work outside, we get what I call the volunteers from the villages. In every village, suppose I'm working in here with me here. It's about 24,000 villages. Each villages will choose 2 persons to work with us as a volunteer, but we give them the salary, daily wages, the lower daily wages, until prove without any doubt that these kids are good enough. Then we get the salary and then put the boxes, of the we use the Hay consultant
Yeah.
management, job size, how many people, and whatnot. So this is real professional, thinking of putting the job size of these people. So we have the people from the villages working for us. If you're going to send the people in Bangkok to work up in the hills, or in the wilderness, they want to come back to Bangkok. So best thing that we found, that we can find all these good people. But I look at it not the smartness. I look at the heart of the people, the heart of the soul of the people to give. But for you, I look after you. I'm going to make a career path for you. So what you do is that you just have the compassion to help other people. So we do this, and also we now going to schools, the elementary school, and now we're going down to the kindergarten. So a lot of places that we do, it became Montessori schools already. So all these things is going to be taught.
You're going to put sustainability in the school
Yes.
curriculum?
Oh, you
Yes,
better believe
yes,
it.
yes.
You better believe it. That's the only way it's going to last forever.
Okay, Amiya, how do you pass
Yeah,
on
so
that?
he touched on those points, which is basically, I mentioned in my presentation that you have all these universities around the world that are now bringing in sustainability, social business into their curricula. And it's interesting how they came about. In many cases, it's because of the demand of the students. The students going to the faculty and saying, why is it that we're not being taught this in our business school? That you can have a business that's motivated by the desire to do good. And why? So in many of the centers and the courses that have been developed, it's come from the students. And we find a lot of young people from around the world being drawn to this idea because they've seen, especially in developed countries, they've seen satisfaction of their material needs. They're comfortable. They've achieved something. They're looking for something else. They're looking for what is the mark that I leave on this planet. So we have, when Professor Yunus goes to speak around the world, the halls are being filled up mainly by young people because they're fed up with the way things are now.
That's right.
They know that this is not the way, and
They need to change.
and they're looking for change, and they're looking for change. And also to the point that because this is a sustainable institution, it doesn't mean that if you work here, you have to pay, you have to work for free or as a volunteer. It's a sustainable institution. The cost structure has to cover the pay of someone who has the management skill to make a business sustainable. It has to be sustainable, otherwise it doesn't have the impact. So I think this is a wave that's happening globally. I think young people are looking for alternatives because they see the limits of the system that we have now. So.
Yeah, I think, education plays an important role on this part. It's hard for us to achieve all the sustainable development goals if we don't educate the people. So same thing with the mission and the vision of our foundation. We try to help the poor and educate the rich. And at the same time, while helping the poor, we try to educate them as well. So this is something that I think that we are actually moving towards on, because it is only through, mutual understanding, common knowledge, then we can have a common action. So that is why what we do is we try to share to them first. We try to teach them. We try to educate them, and then after that we all come up with a common understanding, knowledge, and then later on we have a common action that UN has released,
With
which
that,
is leaving no one behind.
Right, leaving nobody behind.
Yes.
With that, I'll like to bring to conclusion this very interesting, very illuminating panel discussion. Please give our participants a big hand. Kun Chai said that he was not feeling well. Just imagine if he's feeling very well, how much more exciting this would be. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Another round of huge applause for everyone on stage. Thank you very much. Please kindly remain on stage. We just had a very, very fruitful and productive discussion. And of course, up next, for our speakers and moderator, I wish to invite Mr. Noparat Metawi Kunchai from Thailand Convention and Exhibition Bureau to kindly proceed to the stage. and deliver a token of appreciation to our speakers. Thank you very much. Okay, we have our token of appreciation ready. And firstly, Mr. Noparat will deliver the token of appreciation to Mrs. to Mom Rachawong Ditnada Disakun, the Secretary General of the Royal Initiative Discovery Institute. And up next, Mrs. Lamia Morshid, the Executive Director from Yunus Center, Dhaka, Bangladesh. And up next, Ms. Monica Sain from Buddhist Compassion Relief Shuji Foundation, Taiwan. Thank you very much. And of course, our charming moderator, Mr. Sutichai Yun, the Chief Officer and Advisor to the Board of Nations Multimedia Groups. Thank you. And we have the first shot of the photo opportunity that everyone please come forward and step a bit. Right. Brilliant. Big smile. And for the second shot of the photo opportunity, may I invite on stage Dr. Jirayu Isranguna Ayutthaya, the Chairman of the Thailand Sustainable Development Foundation, and also Associate Professor Nunoy Trirat, the Director of Asian Studies Institute, once again on stage to join the second shot of the photo session. And of course, Mr. Stefano Fotio from the UN, United Nations ESCAP, kindly join the photo session. Thank you very much. The Director of Environment and Development Division, UN ESCAP, Mr. Stefano Fotio. That's a very family atmosphere. Big smile, please. And for the next shot, can you please have your thumbs up? Sustainable development. A very warm, a lovely photo session, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much indeed. How about another warm round of applause for everybody on stage?
I have a few materials if anyone is interested on the work that I described. Thank you.
Thank you. So dear all participants, this is a conclusion of our morning session. An afternoon session will start at 1:30 p.m. and will be separated into two groups. At the conference room will be changed. So please be noted that the first group, the development experience in foreign countries, will be held in the room Sathorn 1 and 2. The first microcredit and community formation, Grameen Bank and Bangladesh Rehabilitation Assistance Committee, our BRAC from Bangladesh. And secondly, the community agriculture and agricultural cooperative, Taiwan and Japan. And thirdly, the community and tourism in World Heritage Sites, Luang Prabang, Lao PDR. That's for the first group. And for the second group, we'll have the topic of sustainable development in Thailand, lesson learned at the room Rama IV Exchange Forum on lessons learned from sustainable development in Thailand, sustainable development model and case studies. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to express my high appreciation for your participation for the first half of the day according to the celebration of His Majesty the King's 70th anniversary of his accession to the throne. And I wish all participants could find it very informative and useful conference. And the lunch is ready for all of you in the room next to the conference room. Will be on my left-hand side. You just walk out and turn left, and the lunch will be ready for you. We have roughly almost an hour time for the lunch break. At this moment, my tour of duty as the MC also has come to an end. So once again, thank you so very much indeed. Welcome to Bangkok. Have a pleasant stay and enjoy your lunch. ขอบพระคุณและสวัสดีครับ